Fill her up.
You're listening to the Gas Digital Network.
With Robb Flynn.
What up? What up? What up? Podcast party people. How you doing? How you living? How you rolling? Are you rolling into the deep? Like the Adele song? Rolling into the deep? That's a jam too. If you didn't know, that's a good song. That's a great record, man. That Adele record, 21, get the fuck out of here. So many good songs on there. Her voice is butter. So butter. Buttery, baby. So much butter you're going to get a fucking heart attack. Cholesterol clogging your shit up. Yeah, she's awesome. I love her. I love that record in particular. Set fire to the rain. You know what I'm saying. You know you love Adele. You don't got to front. You ain't got to front with me. You ain't got to front with me and act like you don't like Adele. You know you love Adele. Come on now. Get over yourself. Some good shit. It's got some bangers. Bangers on that record. Man, what a voice. What a voice. What I would do to have a voice like her. But I don't. Got my own thing. Got the heavy, bro. Got the heavy. That's what we need. We need to bring the heavy. Need to bring more heavy. I was at the gym the other day. My coach, Ted, he was sitting there. He was doing some shit. He was pushing me. He's like, we're doing squats. And then clenching the Fist of Descent came on, which, you know, for all intents and purposes, it's 10 minutes of fucking raging metal and riffs and super heavy singing and all this. Then it's got that one little section in the middle. It's like 30 seconds long of singing, like, so how do they? And my coach is just like, why you got to ruin it with the singing? Yeah, all that heavy. Why you got to ruin it? I'm like, ruin it. I was like, that's the butter right there. And he's like, all heavy. All heavy. Just keep it going. I was like, all right. I'm going to write a song coming up here. No singing. All brutal. Burn My Eyes style. Although Burn My Eyes had a lot of singing on it, surprisingly. If you go back and listen to it, there's quite a bit of singing on there. It was good. He's pushing me. I'm getting back in shape, getting through all my injuries. Winter hit and I got like fucking injury city, man. Like I just had so many shoulder thing, fucking knee thing, and then I just got hit by a car the other day. So that set me back. I felt okay. I don't know. I might have talked about this. Did I talk about this already? I don't know if I talked about this. I was coming home. You know what? I don't think I did talk about it because I would have done the intro already on the last podcast. Yeah. So the other day, coming home, 9 o'clock. I've been rehearsing, been recording, doing some work down here at the studio, and 9 p.m. You know how they always say that you get in an accident like within 2 miles of your house. And dude, that's exactly what happened. I was like, I'm 3/4 of a mile from my house. I'm at a stoplight, dead stop. Sitting there waiting, looking over at the Safeway to my left. Bam! My head smashes against the back of my seat. I go forward. I'm trying to put my brakes on, but I've got these anti-lock brakes. So like, even though my brakes are on, like the car is still rolling a little bit. So then I slam it down even harder. And I was like, my reactions were actually super fast. I was surprised. It was all like slow motion. But my car ends up hitting the car in front of me. There's one car in front of me, ends up hitting that car. I get out and I'm like, what the fuck, dude? And it's this old man and he's got an old lady in the car and he's just like, oh, he's kind of like, but he's kind of slurring. He's kind of like wobbling. And I'm like, are you drunk? You know, this car is fucked up. I lucked out. He hit my trailer hitch. My trailer hitch. I've got a trailer. I tow a boat. And even though I haven't towed a boat in a while, I just leave it on because I forget about it. And so it was on there. This this shit went and smashed all the crap behind it. So I kind of lucked out with that trailer hitch. My car wasn't actually that bad, but I'm concerned that he might have fucked up my trailer hitch. And I tow a boat that weighs, when I'm going camping, I load it up with so much shit, it probably weighs 6,000 pounds. Anyway, we pull over to the side, and the guy in front of me is like, oh, I guess he had his son driving. His 16-year-old son's been driving, and so it's a whole family in there. It's like brother, mom, and dad. They're letting the son drive for like one of his first times ever, and he gets fucking rear-ended by this fucking jackass who rear-ends me. And go over there, and dude's like slurring his wife or whatever, girlfriend or whatever she is. She's having like a freak out, and I'm like, what's going on with her? She's like, oh, she's got dementia. She's having a freak out. It's just a fucking weird scene, and he's really slurring, and I'm just like, this dude's either having a stroke or he's on pills. I don't smell booze. I ask him a couple times, like, are you drunk, dude? And he's just like, no, I'm not. I'm like, are you on pills? He's like, I'm not. And I'm like, something's up. And he's like, why did the traffic slow down so much? I'm like, we didn't slow, bro. We were both both me and the other guy who got hit. We were at a stoplight, completely stopped for 10 seconds at least. Ooh. And the crazy thing is, I was sitting there thinking about, should I call the fucking cops? Like, this guy might be dangerous. And I don't want to call the cops on some old man, but I'm like, fuck, like, if he hits somebody else on the way home, it's double fucked. So, but then I started thinking about it, and about a year ago, my dad got into an accident, and he'd been driving late a lot. My dad gets up hella early. Gets up so fucking early. Gets up like 5:30 usually, and then does a bunch of shit, and just what goes on a walk. By 7 o'clock, he's doing a walk, and he was constantly going out. This is before the pandemic, obviously, but he was going out, and he's like driving. He drives come to my house and then stay till 8:30, and then drive back to Sacramento, which is 2 hours away. I'm like, dude, just spend the night. Like, it's too late to be driving. This is so fucking late for you to be driving. Like, you should not be driving. Oh, I'm fine. I mean, he's in his 80s and he's stubborn as fuck. And I'm just like, dude, whatever. And so he goes over to my stepsister's, and he's there. And then he leaves there at 8:30. Both her and I were always giving him grief about it. Like, dude, too late. Like, just spend the night. Just go to sleep. Wake up in the morning fresh. Drive back. It's not going to be some big deal. And I got it. And he's driving home. It's like 9 o'clock at night, and it's still, I want to say it's like the summertime, so it's still just, it's dusk, like the worst time to drive. If you did not know, most accidents happen at dusk, which is the time when the sun has already set behind the mountain, but it hasn't gone down completely, and it's kind of just gray out. Yes, that is the time when most accidents happen. Anyway, he's driving on the freeway. The traffic comes to a complete stop. I don't know what he's doing. I feel like he's on his phone and he's not telling me. Like, he's fucking around with his phone. Slams into some dude full speed at a dead stop. 60 miles an hour, 65 miles an hour. Just bam. Dude gets out. He's like, oh my God. He's totally like, are you okay? Like, the guy is more concerned about my dad, because my dad's 80 or whatever. And my dad's like, oh, I'm fine. He's not fine. He's like rattled. But the guy is like, I'm not going to press charges. I'm just going to let this go. He says to my dad, 2 weeks ago, I got into a motorcycle accident. I was riding a motorcycle. Same thing happened. I didn't see the traffic stopping. I hit the car, flipped over the car, landed. So I gave up riding a motorcycle. Now I'm in my car. Same fucking thing happens to me. He's like, I'm just gonna let this go. I'm still alive. I'm not dead. Like I'm just gonna, I'm just gonna live my life. And I was like, wow. I mean, my dad fucking lucked out. Like lucked out that this guy didn't. It's a fucking lot of car to be hitting fast too. So I was like, I've got all this going through my head, like as I'm thinking about this old man and his wife having this dementia freak out. I'm like, I'm just gonna let this fucking guy go and pray I don't wake up and read about some other accident this jackass got into. But yeah, so that was it. So I was kind of like, my neck was kind of banged up, my mid back was kind of banged up. And so I've been going to the gym, but I've been kind of going light, kind of babying it. Just like, I don't want to, fucking go crazy and then find out that shit's all fucked up. Hit the chiropractor, got a massage. I'm feeling better. So I'm feeling good. I feel like tomorrow, I went to gym yesterday, grinded hard. Going tomorrow, I'm going to do bench and rows. I'm going to go back to my full pre-accident weight. So that'll be good. It'll be good to go back to the gym, go hard. Actually, today I went on a walk with Y Guy, my son Wyatt. 14 years old, never wants to leave the house, is doing distance learning, and oh my God, all he wants to do is sit in his house. Motherfucker will wear pajamas all goddamn day. I'm like, did you leave the house? No. Like, get out. Do something. Play you got a trampoline in the back, you got a basketball thing in the front. Like, go do something. Go on a walk with him. We just bought you a bike. Go ride a bike. Crummy kids don't want to do nothing. What do I want to do that? Why do I want to? My 16-year-old's the worst. Why would I want to do that? Well, I don't want to ride a bike. Let's go on a walk. I don't want to go on a walk. I hate walks. I hate. Who hates walks? How do you hate a walk? How do you hate a walk? What? Get out. And then if I finally get him to agree to something. His answer, it's so infuriating. It's he's agreeing to it, but fine. What you're agreeing to do whatever we just talked about. Fine. It's like everything's got to be begrudgingly agreed to. Fine. Hey, I'm going to take you, let's go driving. Let's go driving around the neighborhood. I'll take you driving around in my car. You don't have a driver's license yet. So this is, I'll teach you driving. I'll take time out of my day to teach you how to drive. Fine. Like, oh, sweet, Dad, right on. Like best dad in the world. Nope, never that. Fine. Like I'm torturing him, teaching him how to drive. I said this before. All I wanted to do was fucking drive when I was his age. Get the fuck out of Fremont. As far as I could go. Oh, I couldn't wait to drive. Yep. Oh, well. I think Head and I even talk about this on the podcast. Anyway, I got a great guest, man. Man, this was a good one. I'm fucking pissed off. My goddamn... I want to play some music, but last week my fucking podcast pro Roadcaster by Rode, which is awesome. I love their shit. Up until now, it's been great. Last week I don't know, it went fucking haywire on me. Now, if I connect the computer, I can't play music. I used to play music before the artist, and now I fucking can't because this goddamn thing won't connect. I've been fucking on the thing with the guy. On my Twitch, I got Road Mike's follows me on Twitch, so I'm just like, hey, like we had contact, like, hey, dude, like, what's up? Like, can you help me with this? Nope, still nothing. So I'd love to play some new music by Head from Korn and his latest band, Love and Death, but I can't because it won't fucking connect. But you should check out their new album. Let's see, what is it called here? They got a new album called, I think it just came out the other day too. There it is. Let me get my glasses on. I can't see any dates on this microscopic reading here. What is going on? Now I can't pull up any information on Spotify. Okay, Love and Death Band. There we go. They got a new song that just dropped December 3rd, called Down on Earache Records. It's a rocker too. I would totally play that song for you right now. That would be the first song I play. It's a fucking banger. It's really good. But they just dropped. I want to say they just dropped a new record like a week ago, or 2 weeks ago, or something. And it's good, man. It's got some heavy grooves. Let's see. It is called February 12th. Okay, it's 3 weeks ago. Perfectly Preserved. New album. Released February 12th on Earache Records. CD, digital download. Yeah. You should check it out, man. Some good shit. He had some good stuff to say. I was really I gotta say I was really stoked when this whole thing was done. It's a great guest, man. He talked about anything, everything. Like nothing was off limits. Super nice guy. Like what a nice guy. Like fucking such a good dude. And really enjoyed myself. Really enjoyed catching up. Really enjoyed catching up with him. We have a long history, and it's a crazy, we started, our records came out a couple months apart. Our debut albums came out in 94, a couple months apart. We've had, crisscross paths. I got them played on Headbangers Ball for the very first time when I hosted it. They didn't even have a record out over in the UK. So yeah, just this crazy path. And, here he is on my podcast all these years later. It was really cool. So ladies and gentlemen, without any further ado, the mighty Brian Head Welch. Brian Welch.
It's been
Is that weird to hear that? Does everybody call you Head or Brian Welch?
Dude, now that we're old and everything, it's just Brian.
Right on. I like that your bed back there is like a bunk. Like it's like a tour bus bunk. You just close the curtain, it's just black.
Look at that. It's like a Dracula bed.
That's fucking awesome.
I love it. It's a cave, bro. I don't wake up for nothing.
Yeah, there's no window or nothing, right? Or is there a window somewhere? Okay.
I mean, there's windows over there, but they're all blacked out.
Yeah. Nice. I gotta say, dude, I've been listening to your new song, the new record, and you got a killer voice, man.
Dude, thank you so much, man. I'll tell you what, we kind of I had help, put it that way. The recording magic you can do, but so live I'm not as good, but we really worked on it hard. So yeah. We had a lot of cool writers on this record, so I can't take much credit for the writing. And, I threw my 10 cents in there, and the 90% came from these other guys. So I'm stoked. Yeah.
Nashville cats that you're writing with or something?
2 guys from Breaking Benjamin. And
okay.
Yeah, a friend of mine is sharing vocals with me. So a young kid, he's like 25 years old. He's actually in my living room. So that's why I'm right here in my bed, because this guy's taking over my house.
Right on. Is he the guy doing all the harmonies?
Yeah, he's doing the harmonies, and he takes some lead. Like he does the second verse, he sings lead. So
Okay. But you're doing the heavy vocals.
Yeah. I love to scream, man.
Dude, your heavy voice is really good, man. Like it's rocking.
Thank you so much, man. I appreciate it.
I remember heavy vocals from you from Ball Tongue, but I never really heard it like this.
Yeah, when I exited Korn, with all the drug and partying going on, and just wanted to start over, I just started trying to sing, and I just worked on it, and it's gotten a little better over the years. And so it's not something, man, my loyalty is Korn, and I love playing guitar in Korn, but this is just something, fun for me to do, and collaborating with people, bro. I really love collaborating here in Nashville with people.
Yeah. No, it's good stuff, man. I mean, it's interesting that you say the Breaking Benjamin thing, because there was a couple of times when I was like, this kind of reminds me of Breaking Benjamin for some reason, but I didn't know that connection was happening, because they got some cool melodies, like a cool style. Are they from Nashville?
No, one of the guys that's in Love and Death, he actually produced the last two records. He started writing with Ben on he wrote I Will Not Bow with him and some songs off that record. And so Ben kept telling him, dude, join our band, join my band. Remember, he was going through the lawsuits and everything with his former members. And Jason was like, I don't want to be in a band. I just want to produce. I just want to produce. So producing dried up for him, kind of. And next thing you know, he was like, oh, I guess I got to join this band and be a rock star. Poor guy, right?
Yeah, that's great, man. So that guy joins the band. How do you get hooked up with those guys?
So I was born in LA and I was raised 2 hours outside of LA. And I moved to Phoenix in '05 once I exited the band. I got in a bunch of business just problems in Phoenix. And about 2 years after I moved there, I moved to Nashville, just met some people and got a manager in Nashville, and he was connected with Jason, and that's how I met Jason.
Okay.
So yeah, small world.
Were you a Breaking Benjamin fan?
You know what? As soon as Diarrhea Jane came out in '05, it was just such a well-written song, and we've toured with them. They opened for us back in the day. And
okay.
So, yeah. So, I mean, probably '04 or something, '03 when they're just first coming out. And so we got history with them. And I like Ben's heart. I like his articulation of singing about his pain. And I love his melodies. So
I was definitely stoked on the new record, man. It's like heavy Korn shit. The guitar tone's ripping. Like, I was like, fuck yes. The guitar tone is just so modern and metal and just sounds heavy as fuck. And I always like that. I'm drawn to that.
Right on.
And
that means a lot coming from you. You know that. So thank you very much. I will never forget the first mention on MTV came from you. For Korn back in the day. We will never forget that. We were like little kids, huge fans of Machine Head, and just little kids, just, oh my gosh, can you believe you mentioned us? Headbangers Ball.
Yes. Yeah. Awesome, man. Yeah. Thank you for that.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
I'm excited that you got a new record coming. I'm excited you got a new thing going, man. Like, is this all written in the pandemic? Like, is this, just I'm fucking trapped, I need to write some shit and put out some music?
Actually, no, man. It's been like 70% of it was written over the last 5 years. Like, we put out a heavier song called White Flag. It's a lot of screaming on that song, but that song was written 5 years ago. And so we just finished it. And there were some loose ends that we had to tie up. And, everybody was like, no, it's not going to make the record. And I'm like, it's got to make the record. It's got to make the record. So I kept writing. I kept throwing things away, kept writing. And I finally got it passed by the majority. And everybody fell in love with it. So, awesome. Yeah. Stoked on that.
Is it weird dropping a record and knowing you're not going on tour?
Yeah, man. It's so weird. And it's almost like, Matt from Avenged Sevenfold mentioned, like, he's like, we're just going to take our time on our recording because the truth is that no one's going to really care if we go on tour a year after we put a record out. They're not going to care about it. Like, people are always wanting, it's like fast food, music's like fast food now. It's like, give it to me. I want something new. And then 2 weeks later, it's like, okay, next. It's sad, but it's kind of true. And unless, maybe not the diehards, but so it is very weird, but it kind of worked out because honestly, I don't love to sing live. That's why I wanted this kid to sing more on the record and whatnot. I don't love to sing live. It's harder for me to do. if I'm sitting there in my studio and I can concentrate and I can hear everything perfectly clear, it's that's one thing. But going live and having to be the front man, it's just hard. I give like so much props to you guys ever since I tried it. 8 years ago, I was touring with Love and Death, and the front man, I'd get sick and have to put on the show still, and you have all these issues, and you still have to be like, make them happy. And in Korn, I could hide behind my dreads if I'm having a shitty night, So hats off to you vocalists, man. Seriously.
Yeah, it's funny when you're like especially when you got like some shit going on in your life, like back home, like or fighting with your girl, whatever it is,
right?
Bad shit, and then you're like, but you got to go out and be like, woo, this is the best time ever, like, you know what I'm saying?
Do you ever lose it? Okay, I'm going to interview you now. Do you ever lose it on stage, or just like you're having the shittiest night and you don't even care who knows it because you hit a point?
I'll definitely, if shit's going wrong on stage, like I'll fucking bitch about it on the microphone. Like,
you're gonna throw him under the bus.
Fucking monitor guy, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah, dude.
What the fuck?
How about Dave Mustaine? He lets him have it too.
Not too much. I try and keep it. I try and keep the vibe positive though. Like I want to. I just want everybody to go fucking crazy. That's all I want. Just as much as that can happen. Sometimes it spills over. Sometimes you're having just a fucking crazy, horrible day, and you melt down on stage, and you're like, "Fuck!" Like I don't want. Like I never want to cry on stage, but like once every 2 or 3 years, like fucking some shit will be going on back home, and like we'll play a super sad song, and I'll be like, "Fucking," I'll just lose it, and I'll be like, "Fuck."
Oh, yeah. Dude, speaking of monitor, you just said that. It just reminded me of our monitor and friend, Brian Post, of 6 years, just passed away a few weeks ago. So just shout out and RIP to Brian Post.
Your monitor guy, Korn's monitor guy?
Yeah. So we're pretty bummed.
Yeah, that's sad to hear.
And it was sorry, there's a little lag in the, but it was a brain aneurysm, and it's just out of the blue, man. It's it's just crazy times we're in. Yeah,
it is. How you handling the pandemic? Are you losing your mind? Are you at ease?
I am very much an introverted extrovert, so I can go out into the crowd. I can do the public thing. I can be around people, or I can pull back because I recharge when I pull back away from the crowd. Probably a lot of us musicians are like that, but I'm totally good, man. Touring is sad, and I feel for Jonathan Davis because he's like, his home is on a tour bus and backstage. And right now, Jonathan has, like, in his dining room, he has his game system like wheeled in there, just like it's a dressing room on tour. So he's got his game system in his dining room. It's amazing. He's a road dog, man. So I feel for him more, and some of the other guys that are just, like Monkey's got a 1-year-old, bro. He is like, he's in the thick of it. He's 50 years old, popping out kids still, and so he's it's rough, man. Mine's 22. I'm done, and I'm just watching her flourish as an adult. And so, but as far as me in my life, it's been fine for me. Like I can take touring, I can wait another year for it, or I can sit at home. It doesn't really matter. I'm pretty at peace with myself, put it that way. I'll find something else to do.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, write music, or even release. You could even do another Love and Death record if you wanted to.
Yeah. This one took 8 years from. So I finished. We finished the full length of Love and Death, Between Here and Lost, 8 years ago, and right when I was rejoining Korn, it came out. And so the deal was I was going to do some shows with Korn. And then 6 months of that, I was like, this sucks. I just want to be in Korn. And so that was it. So
it was like, what kind of venues are you playing with Love and Death?
I mean, we were doing small stuff, of course, but and then so when Korn asked me to come back and said that I could do double duty and do some openings and got on some festivals with them, I thought it was gonna be kind of cool, but then I just realized that, I was supposed to be back with them doing my thing, and I fell in love with Korn again. Because the last few years I was in Korn, I was on meth and pills and Vicodin and Xanax, and I didn't know,
Oh,
dude. When I played with Korn on stage for the first time after the 8-year hiatus or break or whatever, it wasn't a break. I quit, and when I jumped on stage, it was so foreign to me but familiar because it had been so long. In the last 2 or 3 years, I was in a fog, so it was really trippy. So I fell in love with just being in Corn the first 6 months touring with them after I was gone for so many years, and I just said, you know what, I'm doing this, and I'm gonna put that other band aside.
yeah. I got to say that was a big moment in the rock community when you came back. That was rad.
It was special, bro. It was so special. I mean, from fans all online, like just saying, I never thought I'd see that happen, to my dad at home crying because he knew all the guys when before puberty, or
Right.
or right during. And me and Fieldy got caught drinking my dad's alcohol when we were like 15 years old, and we just have history. And
Right.
so it was very special, man, and all the signs pointed to it. I'm like, this is it. You know how cool Jonathan Davis is? I played that song with him blind at that one show, and I went to the bus to say goodbye after the show, and he goes, "Hey man, if this is the last thing we ever do together, thank you for giving me this one last memory of all you guys with me in the front." And he was just so genuine. It kind of, because I'd been away from them for almost a decade, and I didn't realize that he cared about me so much. I didn't know what the deal was. I was confused. I went through a lot. Meth is a hell of a drug. Don't do it. Don't do meth.
Oh, I know. Oh, I know.
I'm telling everybody out there, dude.
Yeah. Luckily for me, my meth phase was when I was like 18 to 22 or 24 or something. So
Yeah, me and Jonathan, all those guys, we were messing with it around that age too. And then Jonathan got sober, and I just battled it like I thought I was so good because I could go 1 or 2 months without doing it. I would just do it one weekend and then not do it a month and then do it the next month. And you'd be tired for a week, but feel back to yourself about a week later. So, but
yeah.
then I don't know why I fell back into it in my early 30s, man. I think just undealt with issues, pain from the past, trauma, whatever you want to call it. So I was just trying to just escape, but yeah, I got past it, which is good.
Were you one of those dudes? So for me, just when I did meth, I could stay up for about 2 days, and by day 2, it would be like narcolepsy. I would just fall asleep, like mid sentence. Like I would just go to sleep. Like my body was like, dude, done. Like stop. But I had my wife's brother. He would do it. He was hooked on it for a long time, and he could stay up for like 2 weeks, like straight, never sleeping.
See, those type of guys that could do 2 weeks, they usually end up in jail for something major because they're like losing their mind, right? Me,
Dude.
I could do like 3 days tops, but it was usually one night, and then the next night I would sleep.
Okay. Yeah.
But towards the end, I did it about 700 days straight, and I didn't stay up for 700 days, obviously, but I did it. I snorted it, and then I started smoking it. For 700 days I went, and that was gnarly, man. So I think I did some 3 or 4 nights then, but never a week.
Yeah.
I never 1 week ever, or 2 weeks. No way.
Yeah. Yeah, that's some dark shit, man. Fuck. And I feel for you. You did your movie too, that crazy loud Crazy Love.
Yes, sir.
You put it all out. You put it all out there, man. Like all of everything that you're talking about. Like it's fucking, I was researching you and it was just like, oh yeah, to check out the movie. And I was like, fuck. Like,
it's like almost too much, huh?
I commend you for your unbelievably brutal honesty, like fucking brutal honesty, dude. Like, respect. Like it's
so
hard
much.
to put that much of your life out there, your flaws out there, your, demons out there like that.
I just feel like so many people struggle with the same thing, and they sit there and they beat themselves up, and there's self-hatred and there's unforgiveness for themselves. And I really, some people have asked me, like, do you think it was too much? I felt like at times, I was like, I shouldn't know this. And, looking back, I like your show, no regrets. So all I can say is that it's helped so many people realize that it's okay. You can learn to forgive yourself and get past your stuff. And so if that's the end product of, my story, putting it out there like that, laying it on the line, then it's all worth it, right? If you help people heal up or just realize that they're not the pieces of shits they think they are, that they're just flawed humans that can get past it like me. That's it. That's the only motive, because I didn't make jack shit on that. Documentaries don't make money. It was the only motive was to help people,
Did you fund that? Like that was
Well, no. I had some people that believed in they caught the vision like I did, trying to help people, and there was some financial backers, and so yeah, it sucks because I wanted them to be made whole, but I'm sure they'll get something. But at the end of the day, I think it was a great movie, and I think my daughter's story was even better than mine in the movie, and I was hoping that would help some teens, going through the self-harm and whatnot. And so it's been really cool. So that's the reward right there for everybody.
Yeah, that was a pretty that's a pretty intense part right there.
Right? How many kids do you have?
I got 2 boys.
How old are they?
Teenage, 16 and 14.
Whoa.
Yeah.
You're
So
right
just
in the
going
thick of it.
We're going into teens. Yeah,
Okay,
it's a lot of what do you want? I walk in the room like, what do you want, Dad? What? Get out.
So,
like, what the fuck? I'm just coming in here to say what's up, dude.
do you ever say, I have like 16 records I put out? Don't talk to me like that. Like, I'm cooler than that. But
you know who I am.
Yeah. Do you know who I am? But dude, so you're right in the thick of it. Okay, is your 16-year-old, is he like, okay, I turned 16 and I want my license and my car on that day? Or is he like, I don't care if I drive?
Oh my God. It's insane to me. Like I've been taking him driving. Like I'm like, dude, let's go driving. Like, like, let's go. Let's learn how to drive. When I was his age, I lived in Fremont. Like I'm 50 miles away from fucking anything in the Bay Area. Like I want to get the fuck as far away from Fremont as I can. All I want to do is drive and get out of this town. And he's just complete opposite. Like I literally got to drag him into the car, he's 16 and a half. Like he should have his freaking license at this point. And all he wants to do is just stare at his phone. Like just fuck, he's literally just so happy to just, if we didn't take his, like, dude, take a break. You've been on the phone for 9 hours. Like,
dude, to screen time, right? Okay, I feel your pain in 2 separate areas. My daughter started driving at 19, so that's one. Same thing.
Right.
She wasn't like all going for it or nothing. And yeah, definitely. You know what's crazy, bro? This is a miracle. Okay, you saw the piece. Hopefully you saw most of the documentary, but she went into that boarding school, which is a really cool place. Actually, it's not like they put uniforms on and they have to wear, act a certain way. It's really a cool, therapeutic place that's very normal, And so she Oh, where was I going with that? Damn, don't do meth. Look what it does to your brain. Where was I going
It'll
with
come
that?
back.
It'll come
to you.
back.
Driving. She's 19. Just wants to look at. I was talking about my son just looking at.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. So she gets there and they take her phone away. And my daughter doesn't want a phone until she's like 18. She's like, okay, I'll get a phone now. She didn't want one for 4 years.
Oh, wow.
It was nuts. She was like getting into photography. She was doing this and that and this and that. All these things that were like, shit we used to do when we were kids. And and so now though she's got she's got her phone, and it's kind of like for all the years that she missed the phone, every time I go see her, she's like, but I'm the same way, bro. I'm the same way. Do you have issues with addiction, phone addiction at all?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
All of us do, right?
Yeah.
It's just
I'm fucking, sometimes I get that notification like you've been on your phone for 5. I'm like 5 hours. Like fuck.
Right.
What the fuck am I doing?
And if 2 of those hours were the Kindle app where you're reading like a book, getting some information, that'd be cool. But it's usually like this time wasting shit, right?
So, yeah, some of it's work, some of it's emails and just business crap or whatever. So I don't feel that bad about it.
Right. It's not like Instagram. Like Robb's on Instagram for 5 hours, and like
when you get that post like you have seen everything on Instagram. It's like I hate that. Like fuck. Damn it.
Dude, what's funny? Whenever I do get on Instagram and I go through all my feed, all I see is Ray Luzier, Korn's drummer. Ray Luzier like this. Ray Luzier like that. He likes everything on Instagram. He's like, he gets around that dude, man. He's like an Instagram hoe.
It's fun. That's so funny because I just opened up Instagram about a half an hour ago, and I just checked. Somebody sent me a message, so I was just checking it, and then I closed out the message, and the first thing it sees, like, people you might like, Ray Luzier from Korn. And I was like,
wow, that's hilarious, man. I don't remember the last time.
How cool is that dude? He's the best.
Dude, he's like, everybody loves him. And you know what? It's crazy. He's really genuine. Like it's not BS at all. I mean, he grew up on in Pennsylvania, I think on a farm, and his parents are just salt of the earth, just amazing people. His sister actually has a zoo in that area where he grew up with all these exotic animals. It's crazy. We go there when we tour in Pennsylvania. We'll stop there and just, there'll be a monkey, there'll be like tigers and lions.
That's so cool.
It's crazy. Wow. Yeah. It's really crazy. But yeah, I love that guy though.
Was it a pretty big difference coming back? I mean, I guess when you left Korn, David was still in the band, or was he?
Yeah.
Was he gone already?
Yeah. He was there.
So then you come back and now you're jamming with Ray. I mean, is it a big difference to be rocking out with Ray as opposed to David, and a different vibe? I mean, he's a fucking hard hitter. Holy shit, man.
Right. A showman too. He just loves to throw them sticks around and whatnot. And you know what it was? It was so negative when I first left Korn. I mean, there was just massive division. David couldn't go in the dressing room when Fieldy was in it. And if Fieldy was there, David had to wait. So it was just like people hated each other. It was really toxic. And just to be around the guys and with Ray, the drummer at the time, it was just positivity in the air, and it was the exact opposite. And I'm not blaming Fieldy, I'm not blaming David, I'm blaming us all. We were a mess back then. And so just to see how humble Ray was and how to write with him, he would try any drum beat and take any suggestion and not have any ego about anything, because he's played on like 100 or 200 records. He's a session guy, and he could have a little bit of tude, but he's just very humble. Even to this day, he's just like, yeah, I'll try that. Any other ideas? Let me know. It's really cool. So that was a breath of fresh air, and it was just cool from day one. But he does make fun of me because, I got back in the band and I was like, okay, we're back in the band. Let's Korn always has the dreadlocks and whatever. And Ray had this like shaggy hair where he looked like the 80s. It looked like 1983. And I was like, so I was talking to Peter Katzis, I'm sure you know Katzis, our old manager. He was we were talking about the new look, and I was like, hey, we should ask Ray to cut his hair and do something that looks more modern. And he goes, to this day, he'll be like, Head made me cut my hair when he came back. I was just saying, man, he looked like he could be in Dio or something. And I didn't make him. I just suggested a new look. And now he loves it though. He loves his hair now. And his wife is thankful too, because he looked a little dated, bro.
Did he? I don't remember. I'm just soaked that he didn't go. He just like kind of went his own way. He's like, I'm not getting dreads. Like, I'm not going to do that. It's like the
right.
Four of you guys up front, fucking rock out on dreads. I'm going to cut my hair short.
Right. I mean, David was like that too, right? He always looked like the Calvin Klein model and the handsome. He looked like the handsome guy, and we all looked like a wreck. So David was a great contrast to the rest of us. But yeah, I miss that guy. I haven't seen him in forever. I know there's been some negative things said in the press or whatever back and forth, but I wish nothing but the best for him and his family. I see him online, and they look like amazing people. So
was there? I didn't really follow it too close after you guys went your separate ways, you and Korn. Was there a bunch of like shit talking in the press at that point, or was it chill, or you were just kind of doing your own thing? I don't remember.
Yeah, I mean, you're doing your own thing, yeah, but it was nasty for a little bit, Jonathan, dude, do meth for 700 days straight, and then just quit all of a sudden, alcohol, pills, everything. And I was so like into, like, I have a balanced life. I'm very Christ centered, but not in a religious way, in a very spiritual way. But back then I was really making an ass out of myself and saying stupid things. And Jonathan was just like, somebody shut his ass up, shut him up. I kept saying things, and then Jonathan would have to respond because I made it awkward. And so the thing was, Korn was with Epic Sony Records for 11 years. And at that time when I was leaving, they were signing a huge record deal with EMI. And that was the first deal, I think, the 360 deal. Korn was a part of that, or they signed the first deal. And so it was such a big deal and groundbreaking, like way the business was going. And here I am, doing MTV interviews saying I'm leaving the band. And then there's a picture of me in Israel with a white robe looking like Jesus. People thought I lost my damn mind. Right. Whoa. And so I made it difficult for them in the negotiations. It's like, fine, walk away from the band, do your thing, you go get sober and whatnot, but don't destroy our contract that we've been working on for months. And so I was to blame in all that, and I take full responsibility. And Jonathan, he forgave me though. He knew, because his dad went through the same thing. His dad was a partier like crazy, and then one day he's like, born again, and he takes Jonathan's he took his Motley Crue records out back and brought the church folk over and burned the records. And
what?
Yeah.
Wow.
Like, so it was some crazy stuff. And I think,
wasn't his dad in a band also?
Oh, dude, Rick Davis. Rick Davis is awesome. And this is public knowledge, so I'm not saying anything that Jonathan hasn't said before, but yeah, his dad owned a music. So there was Front Porch Music in Bakersfield, and there was Rick Davis on the east side. And I was more of a Front Porch guy, and Jonathan's Davis is Rick Davis. So, man, if I would have been friends with Jonathan, we would have been like really tight, because he was at his dad's music store every day. It was more of like, I think I may be butchering this, but I think it was more of a like a all in like band instruments from school and guitars
Okay.
and whatnot
Right, right,
and
right.
everything. You know, it was more like a proper and proper place. And front porch music was just all metal and like blues, and there was like hundreds of guitars hanging up, and or dozens at least. There's just wall to ceiling, high ceilings to floor of just guitars all over, amps. They had every amp you could want. So, but yeah, Rick Davis, man. And Rick Davis played with Reggie Arvizu, who is Fieldy's dad. They have the same
Really?
name. So
Wow.
they played in bands together and whatnot. And yeah, actually, both of them dads, when I was 18, me and Fieldy were hanging out a lot, and 17 maybe. And his dad, Reggie, became a born again Christian.
Oh
And,
God.
and so it was like, it just was attacking all of us, you know? And we would say, he was telling us about like,
What's going on with our parents?
and then I went through it later on, and it just brought up all those emotions that Jonathan went through. But we were scared of Reggie's dad because he would say that we had demons because we were drinking, and so it happens, bro. And it happened to me where you find this thing and you have an experience, and it helps your life, but you kind of go, say stupid shit and go crazy with it for a little bit, and so you just have to find balance, you know.
Yeah. Do you feel like when you got sober, quit drugs, Xanax and Vicodin and everything that you were on, and then went into Christianity, that became your new addiction in a way?
Um, the thing is, the crazy thing is I had an experience with something from another dimension, and it wasn't the religion, going to church and being a good boy. It was like I felt something come into my house, and I can't explain it to this day. But to me, and I believe that it was Christ just doing something in me, and so that was real. That was very real. But yes, I think I went too far with it, and I got obsessed with it, just like I was obsessed with the drugs. So that's a great question, and I believe I did for sure. And I had to come out of that and find normalcy because there's nothing worse than a freaking irritating, you know, a religious person just shoving it down your throat. There's nothing worse than that. And you saw in the documentary, Jonathan's like, I hate those motherfuckers. And so it's just people can't stand them. And for years, we've had those Christians outside of Korn concerts saying this music, Korn's of the devil, and all this. And so it's crazy. It's a crazy thing, but I'm just glad I got through it, and I'm glad that I am who I am now, and that I have a lot of peace and rest for my soul. I feel very leveled and at peace with myself.
Yeah. Awesome, man. I'm happy for you. That's killer.
Thank you very much. Did you get sober totally, or?
No, I've gotten sober a few times. I went way off the deep end and had to pull back. But I drink on the weekends now. Like I'll have, me and my wife will just sit in the garage and drink. She'll drink wine. I'll drink a couple of beers and couple of vodkas, and then we just go to bed at like 10:30 at night. Just a bunch of boring old people who go to bed way earlier than our teenagers, and then wake up at like 7:30 in the morning.
That's awesome, bro.
Yeah.
So I went 11 years or 10 years without drinking, and just a few years ago, I was like, I'm sober, and I'm more mature now. It's just a lifetime ago. I can drink responsibly, I bet. And so I had a glass of wine, and I was like, oh, this is nice. And I was like, I'm never gonna have no more than one glass. And then a week later, I was like, seriously, that's it, two glasses, no more. And a month later, I had a bottle to the head in like an hour, and I'm like, oh no. And I was like, I can't drink. I just can't drink. But before I quit, I want whiskey. And I went for it, bro. I went all out. I started drinking beer. I started going bars by myself, and I got tanked for like 2 months, and then I quit. And yeah, I can't drink. I'll ruin, like I was throwing up the next morning, all kinds of stuff. I can't like be like you and have like, 2 to 4 to 6 drinks. I can't stop. And it's crazy, but that's how I'm wired.
Yeah. I mean, so many people, and even I was like, I mean, I do, you know, it is tough for me to stop. Like part of me wants to go on, so I'll set 3 beers in the refrigerator, and like, I'll know like if there's more in there, I would drink more, but I'll only set 3, and I'll be like, okay, you can't have more than 3 because there's only 3 in there. And so that stuff like that'll help me. But Sunday to Thursday, I don't do a thing. I don't even do fucking Advil. I don't smoke cigarettes. I don't smoke weed. I don't do pills. Nothing. Just fucking no weed, nothing. And, I like it. I like, I think at my age, after all the drink, I used to drink on stage, so like I'd drink like 7 shots before I went on stage, and then I'd drink on stage, so I'd probably have like 12 shots over the course of an hour and a half or 2 hours or whatever. And then I could stop after the show. Like if I had a show the next day, I'd be like, oh, I got to sing tomorrow. Like it's going to fuck up my throat. So I'll stop. But if we had the day off, it'd be like, another 30 shots. You become like on the road. I mean, how it is, like on the road. It's so easy to become a fully functioning alcoholic and fully functioning. Like you can fucking drink every fucking day and go up and play your show and do what you got to do and get up and do press or whatever the hell you got to do. And it's like, it just becomes part of this, I don't know, your brain my brain got like that. Like, it was just like, yeah, I can do this. Like, no problem. And it's, I think me getting sober, I got sober for 14 months and I've gotten sober a couple times now for like almost a year or whatever, and then kind of slowly dip back in. And it's like, at this point, I'm like, okay, I can do this. I can manage this. And if I can't, I'll pull back. Hey guys, we're going to take a quick break to hear a word from our sponsor. Today, we are welcoming back IP Vanish to the show. What is IP Vanish? You remember, they've already sponsored us. I've talked about them before. They're awesome. IP Vanish is a virtual private network. VPN for short. A VPN is a super important tool that helps you safely browse the internet. You can use a VPN on your computers, tablets, phones, even things like your Fire Stick when you're streaming media. When you use a VPN, all your data is encrypted. What you're reading, what you're searching, what you're watching, whatever it is you're doing. That's important because what you're doing on the internet isn't my business, and it's no one else's business either. IP Vanish helps you remain anonymous and secure on the internet. IP Vanish is just $3.49 a month. For just $3.49 a month or $27.99 a year, you can help protect your online privacy and security. Here's everything that you get with IP Vanish. Anonymous IP addresses. This means your personal IP address can't be tracked by anyone on the web. Circumvent any online censorship. IP Vanish has more than 1,500 servers in 70 plus locations. Get protection when using public Wi-Fi. Remember, with IP Vanish, all your data is encrypted so no one can snoop on what you're doing. 24/7 support. Email them, chat with them, even call them. They're there to help. If you remember, these guys supported the show a few months ago. They've come back with an even better deal, wanting to offer something special for the new year. You're getting 65% off now. So go to ipvanish.com/Flynn with a lowercase f and claim your 65% savings. They have plans starting at just $3.49 a month or $27.99 a year. This is the time to sign up. With our discount and their current promotional offerings, you can get a VPN for 65% off their usual offering. IP Vanish is the best of the best, even rated 4.7 out of 5 on Trustpilot, and that's with more than 6,000 reviews. Show these guys some love. They're repeat sponsors. Remember, it's ipvanish.com/Flynn with a lowercase f, my last name, to get the deal and start protecting yourself online today. One more time, that's ipvanish.com/FLYNN with a lowercase f. Let's get back to the show.
You have some massive discipline. I mean, just back in the day, you would do, 7 shots is quite a lot before the stage, but honestly, it would make the show fun. I mean, let's just be honest. And then 15 shots during the show. And this is what I don't understand with your discipline. You'd have, what is that? 22 shots, 23 shots
total. Like 12 shots total. So like another 5 during the show.
Oh, okay, got you. 12 shots total. And then you'd have the discipline to stop and make a just a wise decision to stop because you had that's discipline. Like I respect that massively. And that you would go off when there's a day off. You just like, go Richter. But now you have that discipline to have a few drinks in your garage with your wife. And if you do go over the edge, you'll just stop again. See, you got a lot of discipline since back in the day till now. And I don't know why I don't have that, man. I wish I did. I wish I could just teach myself,
I think, I got into heroin for a while back in like my early 20s, and I OD'd and I died. And I woke up like in a pool of vomit at the fucking heroin dealer's house. And, I think that one instance, it shook me to the core. Like it shook me to the core, dude. And it really, like, I could have fucking died. My friend died like a week later from the same batch of bad heroin. And I was sitting there at his funeral, and it was the night that I signed to Roadrunner Records. I had just got, it was the night my friend was just like, hey dude, want to go like do some heroin and celebrate? I was like, it's like 1:30 in the morning. I'm hammered. I'm like, yeah, sounds like a great idea. Like,
wow.
Not a great idea. Yeah. I mean, like everything could have ended. Like I could have never had a career in Machine Head, like just so many things. And then to be there a week later at my friend's funeral, like he died from the same batch of bad heroin from the same heroin dealer. And it was just such a life-changing experience. I mean, it was just like my fucking life was going one way and it just went a totally different way after that. Like I was like, damn, I've got to fucking make this happen. I've got to survive. I've got to fucking do this for a million reasons. And like, I got a fucking second chance at life here and I got to take it. Like I got to fucking kill this.
Damn, scared you straight. And so did you try heroin before that, or was it just that night?
I'd been doing it for probably about a year, like on and off. Like I never got super, like lucky for me, like at least what I've heard, some people who do heroin, like they really like, it's just like it's like the best orgasm you've ever had times 10. And then like every time they're trying to chase that best orgasm times 10. For me, it was awesome. Like I loved it. It was like a great orgasm, but I threw up every 10 minutes. I was like, this fucking sucks. Like, what, like, why I'm throwing up every 10 minutes for an hour and a half. Like nothing about this is awesome. Like other than the way I feel, but then I throw up. So
it's like, that would suck to have to throw up when you're having an orgasm. So I could just, I could see that. Yeah. It's like, this is awesome. But no, I hate throwing up too, bro. I hate it. So that was a blessing in disguise, puking on heroin.
Dude, I'm honestly, I can't be more grateful for that I just didn't enjoy it as much as everybody else. And, then that thing happened. And did you, when you get sober, I know like many times when I've gotten sober, I went like crazy sex addict. Like all I wanted to have was sex. Like, did that happen to you? It was,
it was actually, I don't know if you experienced this on meth, but when you do meth, like it enhances everything, like sexual, just 10x, man. It's just everything. And so I got really freaky on the meth, but when I got sober, no, it was, we all come with just, we're damaged goods, right? In one way or another. My thing was I was insecure. I didn't like myself. I had a self-hatred. After therapy and whatnot, I found out that I just carried the self-hatred for myself. I didn't like who I was, didn't like how I looked. I didn't have confidence unless I was high or drunk. So when I got sober, I would be depressed. And so no, I wouldn't have game. I wouldn't have any game because I was sober and I felt like ugly and I'd be paranoid that anybody that wanted me only wanted me for because of Korn. And a lot of guys would be like, so that's good enough reason for me. And I did go through times where that was good enough, but deep down I'm kind of an emotional person, and I was just dealing with stuff, so I couldn't have fun like that when I was sober. It was only when I was high.
Yeah, I get what you mean about the confidence. Like when I was doing meth, it would like really brought me out of I was pretty introverted and I didn't have very good social skills, and it really brought me like I was on 10. Like the fucking every minute I was on speed. Although for me, I gotta say, sex. If I was coming down from speed after like a long night, it would be great. But dude, I couldn't get I was just too much. 17,000 thoughts going through my head. Like I couldn't concentrate on sex at all. Yeah.
Dude, but I would be hyper focused on it for hours. So it was the opposite. Like I said, we're all wired different. We all have so that's what meth did to me. And it was crazy. It was dark. It was grimy, bro. I was like a sicko. I was a sicko, and I'm just glad I'm not that guy anymore.
Right. Yeah. That's funny, man.
I couldn't. That's what I thought you're gonna go with. You're gonna be like,
yeah, totally. Sure. Like I couldn't even get a fucking hard on. Like I can't. All I'm thinking is like 27 other thoughts. It'd be like when I was coming down, 8 hours later, and then I'm like, okay, like now I can, yeah.
Wow.
And then I just would fuck for like 4 hours. I'm like, okay, this is too much exercise. Like, no one wants to do this. Like, fuck.
You're like, I'm not a rabbit. I'm a human being.
Girlfriend's like, okay, dude, are you done? Like, what's going on? Like, all right. Well,
dude, to be young again, right?
Right. For sure, man. For sure. Take me back to Bakersfield when you're growing up. I've been through Bakersfield a couple times, and it's a pretty rough town, man. Like it's got a vibe to it. Like it's got a fucking, there's a lot of like gnarly dudes, like white gangs and Mexican gang. Like it's a kind of intense place, man. A lot of oil, but like somehow it feels poor in a way.
You're right. You just described it so well. It was pretty crazy, man. So I was in Torrance, California. I was born in LA, raised in Torrance, California. My dad was a banker. My mom was a nurse, and my mom's brother had a Chevron gas station in Torrance. And somehow he was just, looking for other opportunities, and he found a Chevron truck stop in Bakersfield. And so he talked to my dad and mom, and they decided to go into business with my aunt and uncle. And that's why we moved to Bakersfield. And I met Jonathan, and he was in third grade. I was in fourth. I don't think we really talked much because, fourth graders don't hang out with third graders, that's not cool. And, and so on and so forth.
Who was in fourth grade and who was in third grade?
I was in fourth. He was in third. He's the youngest in the band. Jonathan's the youngest. So
third graders over there.
And you know what? It was kind of gnarly right when I moved to Bakersfield. Got in with the wrong crowd and kind of got bullied right away. And it was a rough start, bro. But a lot of good things happened. Like the birth of MTV happened about 2 years after I moved there. And I got the Back in Black album on Christmas, and I had an electric guitar by, my next birthday, and I was learning songs. So I was, a lot of cool things happened in Bakersfield too, but it's just, you're either into sports in Bakersfield or you're into country. Buck Owens is from Bakersfield. He made Bakersfield famous, Merle Haggard. And so, I got into country for about a summer. When the fair came to town, I wore the cowboy boots and whatnot, and that came and went pretty quick. And because my parents love country, it's like you want to rebel and do something different than your parents, right? So I got into AC/DC, Iron Maiden, Judas Priest, Ozzy. Just got bit by the metal bug, and music was my everything. You know, I met Fieldy in 7th grade. I met Monkey in 9th grade, and Monkey played acoustic guitar, and he bought my electric off me, and so we just go a lot of history with these guys, you know. And but Bakersfield was it was pretty rough. I lived surrounded like in the East Side Barrio, you know, a lot of Hispanic and Latino gangs and everything, and it was pretty gnarly. And some of our friends on the other side of town were like, they were the punks. It was crazy because my hair looked like Bon Jovi, but I was friends with the punks, and they let me come in with them, and they would call me Bon. What's up, Bon? and they're all rough and tough dudes. Like I had these Hispanic guys that started a skinhead gang called Skinheads Against Racial Prejudice. It was actually nationwide, I think, even worldwide at some point, you know. And Sharp.
Yeah, Sharp.
Sharp. So I was friends with the Sharp guys, and I looked like Bon Jovi. It was crazy. But I would also hang out with the rockers too. But I don't know why I could gel with kind of everybody, and I wasn't a scrapper, so no one really messed with me. I got like socked in the face one night when I was just drinking a beer at a party, and next thing you know, I didn't hit the ground, but my face went numb, and I didn't know what happened, and I just looked up, and this guy's like, and he's like, "You fucked my girl, Richard," and I'm like, I go, "My name's Brian, by the way," but so my friends took him outside and beat his ass because he hit me in the face for no reason. It was the wrong guy. So this guy got dealt with. But yeah, Bakersfield's pretty gnarly. It's a pretty gnarly place. Deftones, did you hear that story?
No.
Deftones got jumped and beat up pretty bad from some Bakersfield guys at a club there early in their career.
Wow.
They just got what do you call it? Just ganged up upon, and yeah, it was pretty bad from what I hear. And they've never been back there since. They're like, I'm not going to that scumbag redneck town.
Oh shit.
So, yeah. And I think I know some of the guys that did it. I never talked to those guys because, you know, we grew up with kids, and then you go your separate ways, especially being in a big band like Korn. It's like, you know, you just kind of separate from all the drama back at home. But I think like 2 or 3 of these guys that were pretty rough guys, you know, they're the guys that would always start the fights at the end of the night at the party and ruin the good time. I think it was them that actually did that to the Tones. So yeah, a lot of people say, just like you said, you know, I've been through it. I drive through Bakersfield, but you know, don't really stay there long. Did you guys play shows there?
I don't think we've ever played a show there. No. I spent the night
just
there
like a day off?
Yeah, just like days off. My family stayed there a couple times going. We sometimes will go to Palm Springs and we'll stop halfway in Bakersfield. You know, so we'll just kind of trip around and catch the vibe for a day or whatever.
Yeah. It's getting better. It is getting better. You know what's crazy? It's like the number one place where people are moving in California because of the pandemic, and a lot of offices are closed and people are working from home, and it's the cheapest place in California right now. So it's just the real estate market. There's not anything that stays on for like more than a day or two. And even houses above $1 million, which is for Bakersfield, that's a lot of money. They're selling in 5 days or whatever. So hopefully they'll expand and give Bakersfield a better reputation, you know. We'll see.
Right. It'll clean up. I'm sure it is already. I'm sure you go back there now, it's probably a different fucking world for you, right?
Yeah. You know, Jonathan lives there.
Oh, we moved back, huh?
He moved back, yeah. And he's been there.
I could do that. I don't know if I could move back to Fremont. That's right. You know, like my small town or whatever. Like, I don't know if I could do that. Could you move back there?
I think so. I'm there all the time because my parents are there and whatnot. But Yeah. So where are you living now?
I live in Martinez, which is about a half an hour east of Oakland.
And
I'm in Oakland. This is my studio, so I'm in Oakland now.
how far from Fremont? Is that what it's called?
Fremont, I'm about 45 minutes north of Fremont.
Right.
Which doesn't seem that far, but back then, like it was the middle of nowhere with nothing. Like, you might as well have been in Bakersfield. Like it was just
Right.
that far from everything. And if you had no car,
that's how LA was for us, because LA was like hour and a half away, 2 hours, and it just seemed like a different state. When you're a kid, you're like, wow, that's far. But we start cruising up there a lot when we turn 18, and then I eventually moved there. I don't know if you know this, but the guys were in another band called LAPD, and it was James Monkey, Fieldy on bass, obviously, and David, and those three. And
you weren't in the band?
I was there. I was their roadie. I was their. I wouldn't say guitar tech, because back then you just tune up and plug in, but dude, it's crazy because I influenced Fieldy to play bass, Monk to play electric guitar when we were kids, but they just got into the Chili Peppers and Faith No More, and I did not like that music. I was a metalhead, and so I just kind of my girlfriend broke up with me at one point. I ended up moving in with them because they moved about 6 months before that to LA, and I just kind of was their roadie. I carried their gear for them and hung out. We were just like all great friends, and it was towards the end of that band where David, I think it might have been David's idea to have two guitar players, and they asked me to join, and we have all this history. And I was actually literally, I had my things put in boxes, and I had asked my dad if I could come back home and work at Chevron and go to like a community college and try to figure out something to do with my life. I cut my hair.
You hadn't been in a band at this point? Like you hadn't been in a metal band in Bakersfield or nothing?
I was in bands with them before 18. When they turned 18, they moved to LA. So from 18 to 23, I was in no bands. I had no confidence. I didn't know. It was really crazy. And I just love my friends for asking me to come into the band, because I came alive. And I came alive. It's like I was a dead man walking. And when I joined the band with them, I came alive. And then we played one show with the former singer. And then me and James went to Bakersfield to visit our families during a holiday or something. We ended up at a bar and saw Jonathan playing with his former band. And we just got in contact with him and said, we have management in LA. We have a producer, and we have things cooking. Why don't you come down and check out our music? And that's when Korn was born. He came down and just fell in love with the heavy 7-string. Can't keep up with how many strings there are nowadays. So he fell in love with the 7-string tunage, man, and that was it. But I was literally like a week and a half away from moving to my parents' house. I cut my hair and everything. I had things packed in boxes when they asked me to join the band.
Wow.
I mean, that's where my life was. It was like either go into
crossroads.
Yeah. And I'm very thankful for that, a lot of opportunities that gave me in life.
The first time I saw Korn was I was mixing Burn My Eyes, our first album, in LA. And Monty Connor came down to hang out with me, and you and the Deftones were playing at a place called Club Dragonfly or Dragonfly, something or other. Yeah, something Dragonfly. Like that. Yeah, and it was you guys went on first, and then, or maybe not first, but like it was you guys, and then Deftones closed, and it was killer. I was, you guys had a buzz for sure. Like people were like, everybody was talking like, oh, this band is, and I'm just like there to hang out. Like I'm drinking, like fuck yeah, cool, whoever. Like, right.
Yeah.
But it was a cool vibe. Like you guys definitely had like a vibe going. There was a whole, like the audience had like a vibe going, and I was like, wow, there's something happening. Deftones, I knew Deftones. We were friends with those guys from before. In fact, Machine Head was kind of sort of born at a Deftones show.
Really?
So I went to, which is super weird, right? So I had started Machine Head, but I was in a thrash band called Violence, and started it, and I told the guys in Violence I'm going to start a side project called Machine Head, and they was like, okay, we were kind of coming to an end, and so the Deftones are playing with this band called Unjust. There's like 25 people there, but they're all going crazy. Like it's one of those rad like local shows where fucking just it's just your homies, but everybody's losing their fucking mind. We leave, and I used to hang out with this guy. I'm not going to say what his name is, but this dude that I used to hang out with was probably the best fighter I've ever known. And I'm not a good fighter. This dude's brain was wired to fight. He could fight dudes 2 feet taller than him. He was like, shorter than me, but stockier. Like his brain, like he could just figure out a way to win the fight. He'd pull out his belt, throw it at somebody, or just like whatever. He just did anything to win the fight.
I know guys like that.
He gets in a fight at this we pull over to a gas station to get some booze, and we're gonna go party, and we go in and we get some beer. We're coming out, and he's in a fight. He's a white guy, and he's in a fight with another white guy, and like we're in the middle of we're in the middle of downtown Oakland, which is a very unusual sight for anybody because it's such a primarily black area. So these 3 black girls walk up, and they're like, oh, look at these crazy white dudes fighting. Like what the fuck? So they come around and they're just they're laughing at him, and they're like, what? And we're all just laughing. Like we're all just like having a good time. And we're like, even though they're in this fight, it was a good vibe. These 3 cars roll up, and it's this local gang, and 12 dudes jump out of the cars, and we're like, what the fuck? And they're just like, what are you doing fucking with our black girls? And we're like, whoa, like we're just my friend is fighting this white guy, and we're all just watching this fight. Like they're drunk, and dude starts getting up in my face, and I'm like, oh my God, like this is like there's no turning around. There's nothing I'm gonna say is gonna get us out of that. So I fucking dropped the dude. I just fucking dropped the dude.
No.
We all start fighting. We got 4 dudes on fucking one. Anyway, it just ends up chaos. My friend fucking stabs somebody. Like it's insanity. And we end up getting away. And then we all go back. And then the next day, like all the people from the Omni that were the security guards at the Deftones show, like calling my house, and they're like, dude, you fuck with the wrong people. They want to fucking kill you. This is a fucking gang. I'm not going to say any names, but dude, don't step out of your fucking house. And I'm like, holy shit. And so I called my band Violence at the time, and I was just like, we had a show that weekend. I was like, I can't play. Like these people want to fucking kill me, and I'm not going to put you in that danger, and I'm not going to put me in that danger. And so we get in this huge fight, like, because I'm, saying I'm not going to play this show. And like, fucking finally, I'm just like, you know what, man, fuck you guys. And so like, at that point, it was like, I'm taking Machine Head full bore right now. And if it wasn't for this random Deftones fucking crazy night that happened,
wow.
Goes on eventually a bunch of the people got killed, like ended up dead, and somehow like we ended up like they focused on other people, and we kind of got forgotten or whatever, and so we were able to move on with our lives. But for about 6 months, it was really like scary. It was fucking scary, like scary intense,
bro. I mean, you have some crazy stories, and I'm just trying to remember if I've heard these stories, like the heroin thing. I don't remember you saying that you died, but I'm sure it's out there. I might have forgot because of my past drug use. I got some long-term memory loss, but you've been through some shit, man. So were you friends with the Deftones, and would you hang out with them once in a while back then?
Yeah, a little bit. Like we were friends with Unjust, and so we would, they played shows all the time together, so we would hang out with them while we were hanging out with our friends in Unjust, and they were like inseparable. They played every fucking show together all over the Bay Area and Sacramento and like all this stuff. So we just kept on seeing like that. So and then we did become friends with them, and we had them. Deftones played the Davidian video shoot. They were the main support band of that show, and we did that video for Davidian.
All right.
Yeah. So it was just a crazy little memory that popped up into my head when I was like, what was the first time I saw Korn? I was with the Deftones at the Dragonfly.
Yeah, that's crazy.
You guys toured. Fuck, man, you came through the Bay Area. Like I saw you open for Sick of It All at Berkeley Square.
Yeah,
Marilyn Marilyn Manson and Danzig, like fucking KMFD. I was like, holy fuck, like Megadeth, like fucking every tour that came through town, it was like Korn's opening. I'm like, Korn's opening again?
Dude, they threw us on every type of genre almost. I mean, not every, but you know what I'm saying? Marilyn Manson, not Manzig, because it was Danzig. I'm trying to say Danzig too. So Danzig, Marilyn Manson, and then Megadeth, and then KMFDM, and then House of Pain, hip hop.
I saw you guys. I went to New York to fucking do something with the record company, and House of Pain and Biohazard were playing, and they're like, "Oh, Korn's opening again." Jesus Christ!
You're like, I can't get away from these guys.
Tell you what though, that's the first that House of Pain show was the first time where I was like, wow, this is fucking, like, to me, you guys had become like a band at that show. Like you guys were finally, like, you were gelling as a thing. Like,
right. Okay.
You know, like it was like connecting, and I was like, wow, like fucking this shit's killer. You know, like I really remember playing you closed with Faggot, or maybe, you know, somewhere near the end, but it stuck out a lot, especially to that crowd, to be saying like I'm a faggot.
Right.
And it was like in front of the House of Pain, Biohazard kind of hardcore hip hop / crowd.
Yeah.
How was that tour for you guys? Was that a good tour for you?
It was.
Do you have any memory?
Oh gosh, memory from day one. We bought a motorhome, and I don't know how the management and record company signed off on this, but we took some of the money from the record budget and bought a motorhome at Winnebago, and it broke down within 12 hours, and it took like a day to fix it. So we barely showed up at the last second for the first show, and just from day one, it was really cool. We got roasted a little bit by Biohazard. You know, they were giving it to us, you know, because you got to, for the young guys, you know. And so House of Pain was really cool to us, and it's just a great memory on that tour. And I remember about 2 weeks into the tour, our Winnebago caught on fire, and it burned to the ground basically. And we got two vans, and we finished the tour for about a week and a half in the vans, and we were taking turns driving. And we got home, we told Katzis and the record label, we're going to break up unless we have a tour bus. And so they got us a tour bus, and we've never been out of a bus since that time. But we were like, we just can't tour in a van. We drink we're going to die, you know, and so you need to give us a bus. So we got tour support, and dude, there's no responsible drinking. Back then we were 23 years old, you know, nobody was being responsible. I remember one night driving, I was the driver at like 4 a.m. I don't think I even took a nap, but I woke up and I'm driving. It's like 6 a.m. I'm looking at a billboard, and there's like a family. It's like a life insurance, a billboard, and a family, a dog with someone's squirting the dog with a hose. And I'm staring at it while I'm driving. And then the dog starts barking, and I start hallucinating with this billboard. And I'm like, nah, man, this can't happen. This can't happen. So that was it. And the rest is history. We've had buses ever since.
Nice. That was a pretty game-changing record. I mean, your lives changed within a year, you know, like your lives had changed dramatically. You know, is that true? Or did your lives not change? Are you frozen again? I think you're frozen again.
It was for a second, but now I'm back. We're good?
Cool. Yeah.
That, like, was that a record life-changing? Is that what the question was?
No, I was just, you know, like that record came out and became, you know, a phenomenon. And, you know, I think maybe to the outside, like your lives had changed dramatically, but in a lot of ways, maybe not, you know, like you might have still just been staying in the same house. And I mean, at the end of that cycle, was just the world different for you?
No, not really. Not for any of us. You're right when you said we just kind of stayed the same. It was, you know, I think a couple of us may have gotten into a better neighborhood. I think Jonathan and Fieldy, they moved to Long Beach, and they were like down the street from each other, and they were kind of tight. But I stayed it was the building process. So I know that we are gaining some success, but we didn't have much money, and it was always, we talked about insecurity, and it was the type of thing where they were telling us, sophomore jinx, and so we were afraid we could lose everything we worked for like that, So nothing was set in stone, and so we're trying to keep focused. And even the second record came out, hit number 3 on Billboard, and started getting some MTV play a little bit of radio play, but not much. But we were still, I remember touring with Deftones, and it was just like playing shows before we were signed, but we were just having a blast, and our lives didn't change that much until after Follow the Leader came out. That's when everything changed. But even making Follow the Leader with Freak on a Leash and all that, we were just like friends, man. We were just tight friends, and we would go into the studio, no producers, just all of us, and we wrote Freak on a Leash, and we wrote Got the Life Together. And it was just we were hanging out. We were just like the old guy, the old days type of thing, just drinking beer and writing songs. And then as soon as the record company and MTV heard it, and it was just spontaneous combustion of all the planets lining up, whatever you want to say, it just exploded. And that's when like all of us changed. It was our whole world was different. And the fame, the money, and the egos. I mean, if you're in your 20s and you blow up that big, and you're like massive alcoholics, you're not going to turn into a good person, right? So we had our issues, and I'm sure you've been there, with your guys. It's just hard, I know you've had drama in your band with the band members, and it's just hard when you're young and dumb and find some success, and it's you just don't know really how to process it, right?
I mean, suddenly you're like you're in a fishbowl, and everything you do is analyzed and criticized and makes you overthink it, and like every move you make, it's crazy, right? And then everything you do is fucking awesome. Like fucking everybody loves everything you're doing. So you got that side of it as well to kind of blow you up.
It's like all the fear that you go through and the insecurities, and when you see the success and everybody loves you, and it's like, thank God it's doing good, and then the next record, it's right back to that. What are we going to do now? Oh no. Yeah. It's crazy because it's like so much about just enjoy the moment.
I love that you talk so much about your insecurities, like that is such a big part of, the man you are now, able to see that in yourself, because I think a lot, I mean, certainly I was, wildly insecure, like I said, I was pretty introverted, and, I think part of the reason I became a front man is because I needed to force myself out of that introverted state or whatever. But, it still is, like every record that we drop now, even now, like it's like this weird combination of like overconfidence and wild insecurity, it's an awesome record. I hope everybody likes it.
Right. It's crazy, man. And so we're all different. Like I keep saying it, not to repeat myself, but Fieldy was the type back then. I'm insecure, and I'm telling you, a lot of the feelings that I was having inside, I would just mask it, and I wouldn't tell everybody like, oh no, are we going to be able to do it again? And maybe we talked. Yeah, maybe we talked about it, but
you wouldn't have talked about it.
But Fieldy, dude, would be like, he was just, I don't know if he was insecure underneath and just cocky on the outside, but he was like, this is going to be the best record Korn ever's done. We're going to be bigger than life. Did all this stuff. And I'm like, well, cool. I'm glad that you believe it, because I'm a mess, And we always were okay. Not every record's everybody's favorite, but, we made it through. And you know what the crazy thing was? Coming from Follow the Leader with that type of vibe, and then having like the hip hop guests on the second half of the record, and then going to just a really darker record with Issues. That record, I felt, it's got the "Falling Away from Me" song, and it's like it was a departure from that new metal thing, like that the hip hop, the rapping with metal. On Issues, we did none of that, and I think Jonathan just took control. He's like, no, that's not us, because Jonathan's more freaky and he's a darker, and he's got that intense, like, dark edge about him. And I think from that record on, it was Korn, and it was not doing the hokey things with the hip hop and stuff like that. I mean, we've always had the undertones with the beat and the bass and everything, but we just kind of went to the Korn sound and stuck there for a while I was in the band the first time. And I know they went into the dubstep thing a little bit, and tried different things after I left, which were cool. But yeah, it's just,
I always heard a lot of Primus and Cypress Hill, like especially those first couple of records. Like that was a big, Too Many Puppies type of shit, and that type of shit.
All we did was rip off, it was just that was full on, like, that's so Cypress Hill. They did that all the time. We just were fans of it and took it over. And Les Claypool, massive influence, along with Flea, and Charles Stanley. He loved Charles Stanley too. Fieldy did. But to regress a little bit, Fieldy, his dad played guitar. And when we were 16, 15 years old, I would be at his house all the time because his dad would let us drink. Before he became born again, we could drink, and we would steal his pills and all kinds of stuff. So it was like the opposite. But Fieldy would play guitar, and he would ask me, now, how's it sound or whatever? And I'd be like, And then one day I just said it. I was like, man, you should switch to bass. It has less strings, and you might be better at it. He just wasn't good at guitar. Honestly, that's how it happened.
That's a friend for you right there.
Right?
How does it sound?
That's how it happened. And then I created a monster. The dude gets on the bass. We start one band called Russian Roulette. And the 80s music, it's like the bass, you would write E a lot. Dun, 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 like Dokken.
Yes.
Dun, dun, dun. And so Fieldy did that like for a few months, and then next thing you know, he met this dude that was into the Chili Peppers and Faith No More, and he starts learning to slap, and gets into Steve Harris massively with the fingering, and he turned into a great bass player, man. And that was it though. But I'll take credit for telling him that he sucked at guitar to move him on to something else.
And you were the guitar player in Russian Roulette. Yeah,
and James came in to we did double harmony solos, me and James in that band. Yeah. And but yeah, this dude came in to try out.
You got to bring that shit back.
Dude, I don't know if you have, but if you haven't, when we hang up, please go listen to Devil Went Down to Georgia. Me and Monkey did a double harmony. So that's the first time we've done it since Russian Roulette. But yeah, so this singer came and tried out for us, and he was like, check this band out that I'm listening to. And it was Faith No More. And it was the old singer, Chuck, God rest his soul. God rest his soul. But the vocals, his approach back then, was, he had that thing. And I was like, I'm used to, like talking. And I'm like, what is this crap? What the hell? I don't like this music. And next thing you know, that guy steals Monkey and Fieldy and David away from my Russian Roulette 80s band, and they start LAPD, the Chili Peppers ripoff. That's how that happened.
Wow. That's fucking great. I've never heard that story. That's awesome.
That's the truth, man. So I was devastated. These guys left.
What were some song titles for Russian Roulette?
Bad Girls, Anytime, Any Place. Ooh Yeah Baby was the song title.
For real? Come on now, you're lying. Ooh yeah, baby.
I didn't write that one.
Okay.
I wrote Don't You Know. It was kind of a love song. I wrote what was the first one I said? Ooh, yeah. Whatever. I wrote some of the better ones, but I did not write Ooh Yeah Baby. That was Richard. So Richard was the guy that I got punched in the face for.
Oh, okay.
That's the Richard.
Oh, your singer got you punched in the face, basically. Your
Yeah.
singer fucked somebody.
And I got punched for it. So what are you gonna do?
But you guys gigged and stuff. Like you guys gigged around town.
Yeah, a little bit. We would do like 6 months of rehearsal, play one show, and then
Right.
and it was just about the hanging out with the guys in a rehearsal space. And there was a building downtown that had a basement and had all these rooms, and we had this little room, and we paid like whatever $50 a month, and we would all split it and just hang out, man, and jam and learn and just have fun. And we'd play it was Bakersfield, right? So there was like you play 2 shows a year or something because there's just not much going on there.
Yeah. Like you're probably are you playing like pizza parlors and like there's not even a venue, is there? Like it's like 4-H clubs or church halls or something, or is there a venue?
There is now, but back then there was. Yeah, back then it was they would just like rent out a place or do keg party. We played a keg party before that, and just did what we could. I wanted to just get the experience of playing live. I did not like playing live at first. I was scared to death the first couple shows. How about you? What was it like playing live the first like 3 shows you did?
Yeah, it was keg parties, like backyard parties, living room parties, like playing in someone's living room, and me and my thrash and punk rock friends just fucking destroying somebody's living room while their parents was out of town on vacation for 2 or 3 days. It was killer. I mean, it was fucking awesome. I mean, I did get. Yeah. Did I lose you?
Okay, I'm back. Yeah,
Okay.
it trips out every 10 minutes or so. So
No, I was saying that, it was backyard parties and living room parties with my punk rock and thrash friends and just, smashing somebody's living room while their parents were out of town on vacation. It was awesome.
right. Hell yeah. Those are memories right there. Okay, were you always like the punk and thrash? Did you ever do like the Dio or Motley Crue or anything like that?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I love, dude, George Lynch from Dokken was one of the biggest influences on me. Like I still think he's one of the biggest influences on me now. Like I loved George Lynch. He was sick, like just awesome. And I loved Crue. I loved like the early Motley Crue, like the more satanic stuff, Shout at the Devil and, Livewire and all that stuff.
Yeah, me too. Dude, George Lynch was my number one. I got into Eddie Van Halen, Randy Rhoads were my first like fall in love guitarists, But once I heard George Lynch, he made that guitar talk. The vibrato he had,
Dude.
he sounded like nobody else in his solos. I mean, he's just so unique, right? I really loved him back then. Yeah, to this day, Ray. Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead. Ray, what? What about Ray?
Ray, our drummer, our drummer has a band with George Lynch, KXM.
Oh, okay.
And it's so it's Doug Pennick from King's X, George Lynch, and Ray. It's a 3-piece. It's pretty cool. And you could,
That's awesome.
George does the signature solos and everything. It's kind of sometimes it's a little bluesy, but it's really a cool project, man. You should check it out.
You hit the nail right on the head with the vibrato. Dude, his vibrato is fucking ridiculous. Like it's insane. Like even now, like I'll bust out the solo for Alone Again every once in a while because I've learned it back when I was a teenager, and I'm just like, Jesus, like you've got to fucking strangle your guitar to get it to go squawk, like it's nuts.
Yeah, dude,
Awesome.
so good. And it's like, I mean, I wouldn't call it this back then, but it had like a sexy, like by just talking, like it was like the guitar had a voice, you know. I don't know how to explain it. It was just really, really, it moved me, you know, because it had like all their songs were in minor, but his had just like a attitude. His solos always had an attitude to them.
Yeah, that's rad.
Incredible.
Incredible. I love hearing that, man. I love hearing that.
That was my guy, man. That was my guy. I even have in my book, I have a picture of me with just looking like a nerd. I'm like 16 and I have a mullet and I have a tiger stripe yellow and black guitar, Charvel.
Yeah.
I had it made because of George Lynch, man.
That rules.
That was I sold
that picture.
Dude, I gotta show it. I don't have my books here, but I sold my PV Mystic to Monkey and I jacked up the price for his dad. His dad paid for it so I can get that Charvel. I was a businessman back then.
Nice. There was a rumor that went around that your fifth record cost some ungodly amount of money, like $2.5 million or $3 million or something like that. Is that true?
Yeah. And I can't say it was us. You know, I'm sure we didn't help, but Michael Beinhorn, the producer, was known for going drastically over budget. And I don't know why the record company, let him, but I guess we got to that level where they're like, whatever. I don't know. I think it was very irresponsible, but yeah, we spent, I think it was in the twos for sure. I don't know the exact number. Jonathan would know that, but what a waste, right?
Yeah, that's great. I mean, that's like a couple of houses.
Right. No, that's like 6 houses.
Right.
You can get some average houses, like 6 of them.
I can't wrap my head around how you spent that much. I mean, maybe I'm like, did they fucking have their crew with them or something? Like,
Oh, okay. Yeah. So that was when I got divorced and tried to get sober for the first time. I got sober for 4 months. Fieldy got divorced and we were in a dark spot. Jonathan had just gotten sober too. And everyone's like, we're going through all this drama. Let's get out of town and move somewhere and make a record. So we got like 3 or 4 really nice, like big houses in Phoenix, Arizona, and lived there for like months. And, it's just went for it and lived big, like restaurants, strip clubs, alcohol. At all the houses had to be stocked up in alcohol, even though I didn't drink, but everybody in the crew and the other guys in the band besides Jonathan drank. And so it was crazy. And then we got some writing done there. That was only the writing. And then we come back to LA. We go to I forget what studio it was, but one of those big studios. Sorry, I'm drawing a blank, but we were there for months. And when we get through with the guitars, tracking the guitars, Beinhorn says, I found a new tone. We got to do all the guitars over. So we retracked all the guitars over. And then we got apartments in Hollywood. And, we're on MTV a lot back then. So it was like, we can't stay in a normal house. We need like a badass Hollywood.
You gotta have a Cribs house.
So, I mean, it just added up. I don't know how it could add up that crazy. That's a huge number, but it's just stupid. That was the 90s. I mean, there was money everywhere in the labels, huh? I mean, it was, and we had been so successful that we got away with it.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a great story though. That's funny. I mean,
it's surreal is what it is. It's just, and then Follow the Leader was something crazy too. We had, I don't know, $20,000 liquor bill on the Follow the Leader record. And that's when we hadn't even broke yet. We had gone, I think, gold. And so that was the beginning of the heavy spending. And then Issues with Brendan O'Brien, I think, was less than Follow the Leader. I don't know. Jonathan would know all this stuff. He's really good with his memory. he got sober at 28 during the Follow the Leader cycle. Yeah. He got suicidal on that cycle on tour. So he was so he was like, I can either want to kill myself or I can get sober, and that was it.
Wow, that's heavy, man.
Yeah. I mean, it's really crazy that he quit right in the height of Korn's career.
He quit?
He quit. No, I'm sorry. He quit alcohol and drugs.
He quit for sure.
I mean, that's when we blew up with Got the Life, and that's when he quit. It's surreal.
Yeah. I mean, that's a lot of discipline right there, because the fucking, every coke dealer in fucking the world's coming out to those arena shows.
Yep.
To everybody fucking raging, endless, any amount of alcohol or drugs you want everywhere you go. Even if you're not, even outside of that, like you go to a restaurant, people are just like, here, free drinks, free fucking whatever. Like,
I know, because I did it. Yep. Well, he was sober, but I wasn't. And he found joy in chopping our lines for us. He was like, he goes, I can't do it. So I like the ritual, and I know you guys aren't going to stop. So I'll just chop your lines. And
I did this when I got sober. I was like totally stoked to make people drinks. I was like, yeah, fucking, you get some of that energy, you're like, you're good. I was good for 2 hours, and then after 2 hours, I'm okay. I'm annoyed. You're annoying me.
Exactly. That's what I went to see Tommy at a Motley Crue show probably 5 years ago, and he was sober then, and he was doing the same thing. He was mixing all these drinks for everybody, but him and his girl were sober. So, I mean, I can't, dude. It's hard to be around sloppy drinkers when I'm sober, and I can do it for a little while, but I need to pull away after a bit, it's like, cause I was the type of drinker where you couldn't really tell if I was drunk. I wouldn't slur. I was just fun. And, so people that slur and whatnot and spit in your face when they're talking and say they love you over and over, man, I just love you, man. And then they're spitting in your face. I can't handle it.
I love you too, but I gotta go.
I got to take a piss. I'll be right back. Disappear. No. That's what you tell to the drunks.
Yes. Was there ever a time when, in the height of your success, I've talked to a couple of band dudes about this, and I only thought it was going on in our camp, but come to find out it was happening in other people's. But there comes a time when these peripheral people outside of the band somehow gain like more importance in some ways than the band. Like it could be a tour manager, it could be a friendly roadie, security guy, or whatever, where they somehow, like they have this influence. And you're just like, hey, wait, what? Like, what are you doing? Like
100%. You nailed it. Is that a common thing that you've heard with bands?
I've lived. I've lived. Just from doing this podcast, I've heard more about it than I ever heard anybody ever talk about it. Like where somebody's like, oh, and then the fucking crew guy, this, that. And I was like, ugh.
Yes, that happened to us because, you live with these guys. And back then we have one bus and we're broing down with certain people, but it was the security guards, some of our past security guards got, I love them to this day, but it was crazy how it's like they were telling me what to do at one point. I'm like, wait. They're like, you're not going to the mall by yourself. I'm like, I pay you. I don't want you. Like, you're more of a scene than me going by myself. It's like these big security guards walking behind me. That's telling people like, who's that? And you're telling me I'm not. No, I'm a grown man. I'm going to the mall by myself, and I would have to sneak away sometimes because it was like they were controlling me. It was weird, very weird. But yeah, we had some crew members too like that, couple, but those ties got cut, when it got toxic. You got to do that because it's like how did we get here type of thing,
Yeah.
What type of stories have you heard like that? I mean, just give me one.
I just had the second to last guest I had just gave me a whole thing about how, his band, same thing, like the band got really successful. They got signed to J Records. They're $1.2 million contract. They're making $500,000 videos. And then they go on tour, and then all of a sudden it's like the drum tech, is like, just drum tech takes over the band, and he's like yelling at band dudes like, like, and he's like, what? And then the drummer's taking the drum tech side, and like, it's just, hey, like, remember we're the guys who wrote this record that we're all touring on, and that this guy had nothing to do with this at all.
That's crazy. Yeah. Wow. I will say that we didn't have any problems with the creative aspect with anybody like that. Maybe a producer here and there, but as far as all that other stuff was mainly the road. It was the road life. It was, you know how it is. It's two separate worlds. You're on tour, and that's the majority of the time, and then you do the record, and that's different people. Your tour family's not there with you during that, but the security guards were on like they were full time pretty much for the band back then, all year round. But we only have, remember Sleepy? Sleepy, our security guard.
You know what? I remember I hung out with I don't know. I was hanging out with Monkey most of the night. Shout out to Monkey too. I haven't seen him for a while. But,
man,
I love it.
We got to link up, man.
We do.
We got a lot of history.
We do, man. It goes back a long time. It's crazy. We played a Foundations Forum together back in '94.
Yeah. Yep. Great. And you know what? I saw the Shavo. Sorry, Shavo. Shout out to Shavo. I saw that episode, and so you guys, you took System on tour, or
yeah, we took them on the
first. They got signed. Say it again. When did you took them? You took them out with you after they did their record, or more?
No, it was just on the demo. But I had the demo, and I was loving the demo. I was like, we got to take these fuckers out. Like, this shit's killer. And our fans hated him. Oh my God, our fans hated him.
That's amazing.
I was like, what the? I'm like, this band is so awesome. Like, what the fuck? And they're, oh, fuck. And it was great too, because it was back when Surge was really angry. It was angry Surge. It wasn't like the Surge that you see now. Like, it was like, hey man, fuck you. And he just like fucking flip out on people and scream at the audience. And I loved it. It was like, these guys got some, they got some fire. Yeah.
Yes.
Totally.
I remember when Sugar came out. Sugar came out, and I liked pieces of that song, but some of it reminded me of LAPD, the band that before Korn, yeah. And so it was, I don't know, it was like a little bit goofy when I heard parts of Sugar, and then I got it when I heard the record. I was like, okay, I get this. And then when their next record came out, I was like, uh-oh, this band's gonna change things, dude. Was Chop Suey on that record or the next one?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was Chop Suey. Wake up,
dude. Chop Suey. I heard it on the radio. I heard that on the radio. We were working on our $2 million Untouchables record, the one you were talking about. When I heard that on the radio, and I was like, this is one of the best rock songs. It's going to go down in history as one of the best rock songs. It's just so good. I just love that song. And to this day, it's almost maybe over 1 billion hits on the YouTube views.
Right.
Crazy.
Yeah. Classic. That's cool that you followed all the bands at that time,
Oh, hell yeah, man. What are we? All we are is fans of music, right? And we get to do it, but when you look deep down inside of us, we're just fans of music. That's all we are.
Yeah. Dope. What did Korn got to tour on the last record you guys put out, right? Like, that wasn't released in the pandemic, or was it? I can't remember.
We did, if I remember right. Okay, so we did a tour with Alice in Chains all summer. We got off the road, spent the holidays at home. January, we went with Breaking Benjamin for 5 weeks. We got home March 1st. So when the record came out, it came out in the fall after Alice in Chains. So we got one tour with Breaking Benjamin, and then that was it. So we didn't really get a chance to push it, and just did the best we could. So
Yeah.
very weird times, man. And when you're our age, it's like 2 years of not touring is a long ass time,
Yeah,
right?
it is. Totally. I mean, and it
Crazy. Where
and
were you?
what's that? Say that again.
This fucking internet's driving me crazy. This internet's driving me crazy. So what was going on in your life? Pandemic, mid cycle? Were you off? Were you? Where were you at?
I was doing the 25th anniversary tour of Burn My Eyes, of our first record, and it was just killing it, and it was awesome. And then that happened, and it was like, well, all right.
Wow! Oh, what? I would love to see that show.
It was rowdy as fuck. It was awesome. It was great, man. We had a great time, and it was, in some ways, I was just talking about this yesterday. I kind of needed the break. Like, I'm not a dude who will take a break. Like this forced break that we're on right now is probably the best thing for me ever, because like I just keep on going, and when you're gone for, when you or I are gone for 18 months or 20 months or 22 months on a tour cycle, like it takes a toll on your family and your kids and your wives, and it's been awesome to reconnect with my family, like during this time, like in a way that I never ever could. Like I'm home. They're like, we're all home. They're doing school from home. It's been, I had a fear, I guess, that when the pandemic, like, oh my God, we're going to be around each other 24 hours a day, but it's been awesome. It's been really great. Like I said earlier, teaching my son how to drive.
That's incredible.
My youngest is playing bass and cello, and just really got into music, and just watching him play music and get totally lost in music, like just playing for hours, like playing, he can read music. I could never read music, but he's like reading the cello, and to see that, dude, it's incredible. Like, and it's stuff that you miss. It's like all that shit that you miss when you're on tour, like getting to see that at a time when I feel like being, dad being at home is a good age for me to be home right now.
Yep. I was thinking that when you said that, with your kids at their age and boys, it's important years, and just you being there. And really, I think you being home at this time in their lives it's going to create a foundation in there, because they were like early teens when the pandemic started, right? 15 and 14. Is that right?
Yep.
Or 15, 13 or whatever. Are they 2 years apart or one?
2 years apart. Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, that's going to be cool for them that you grab this foundation with your relationship being there, man. Because like you said, you're gone a lot in their upbringing. And because I did the same thing, my daughter, when I got home with her, it just put things in order and locked things together relationship wise, that just helped us become so strong and united, so that, as she got older, we just had a bond that, we wouldn't have had maybe if I wouldn't have left Korn. So hopefully, that's happening with you and your boys. That sounds cool.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's, I'm a dude who, I'm happy wherever I am. Like if I'm on tour, I'm happy. If I'm off tour, I'm happy. I know a lot of band dudes who are like, oh, I can't wait to get off the road, and they get home and like, oh, I can't wait to go back on tour. I'm like, just enjoy where you are. Like, don't, I'm happy wherever. So,
were you always like that?
No, not at all. Like, oh my God, I was the fucking biggest asshole. Like when I was that dude, like fucking, and now I see it, and I still see it in other band dudes, and that's like, I don't say anything, but I relate. Like I know, like I used to be just such a fucking negative, you know what I mean? Like, and life change, you went to therapy, you were just saying, like I went to therapy, like it really just helped kind of, peel the onion and figure my bullshit out and just be grateful for, what I got and what I have and what I've accomplished, and that even the mistakes I've made, like learn from them, all that, so.
Yeah, dude, it's cool, man. All we can do is learn in this life. And, all I got to say though, is you've been so cool to us since day one, and we appreciate you very much. All the guys love you so much. And, yeah.
Thank you, man.
Yes,
Thank
sir.
You. Means a lot. You've been an awesome guest, Brian.
It was fun, man. I knew I was going to have fun with you. I missed you. It's been a long time, and Michelle hit me up, and I was like, yes, I love that guy. So I'm honored that you invited me on, and it was great talking to you, man. Great to see you.
Honor's all mine, man. You got anything you want to, is Korn doing anything coming up here? Is there anything that you got your new record out? You got the new video out with Love and Death.
Yeah. Korn, we've been talking, we've been getting together, we've been sending things back and forth a little bit and just trying to come up with some unique things. And management just told me, just all I can say is that we got some exciting news coming out in 2021, and we look forward to mentioning it, letting it out of the bag, so to speak.
Nice. All right, dude. Well, thanks again. Really appreciate you being on here. Ladies and gentlemen, right there, the man, the mighty Brian Welch and Korn.
With Robb Flynn.